This episode is brought to you by the Fitzroy Art Collective, the heart of Melbourne's art scene. Coming to you from the colourful and smoky stage of the internet, this is the Mellow. Three insane minds discussing all things theatre. Now, shookers, and let's start the show!
Hi everyone and welcome to the 10th episode of the Mellow. I'm excited, guys. Are you excited for this episode?
Woo! Hella excited. 10th episode already?
See, this is why I have this in my hand.
She has a beer. That's good.
Very drunk.
It's actually
it's
draft
cider.
Ah.
Damien, you can't talk yet. I haven't introduced you.
I, on the other hand, have a health shake, so I think that Lauren's winning.
It's full of
here.
lots
Did we
of
switch
white
bodies?
fluid.
I don't know.
I, of course, am your host, the Macbeth of the Melodramatics, Benji Rag, here with the Hamlet of the Melodramatics, Lauren Haggard.
Oh, yeah.
And the Shylock of the Melodramatics, Dia Taylor.
But fuck you.
Is that an insult?
But guess what? We have a special guest with us today, the Caesar of the Melodramatics, Damien Hyvan.
I always thought of myself as a Cleopatra, but I'll take Caesar.
Yeah, good. You will, because I'm the host. So, guys, we honestly think we get to 10 episodes?
No, I thought I would die, honestly, but here we are.
Well, here's hoping.
Oh, thanks.
That's cold.
That's the reason I brought Damien on, is because I think that us three are very negative, horrible people.
Yes.
And he's nice.
Speak for yourself.
I think there's a compliment in there somewhere, and I'll take it.
Good.
So, guys, I was thinking, you know how there's, like, universally beloved plays? Yeah?
Yeah.
And then there's me that always has to be an edgelord and hate them
I
no
was
matter
about
what.
to say, all the ones you hate.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out there's a lot of people on the internet who generally will just hate on beloved plays because they want to be edgy.
Oh, so like
Or
you.
they just say bad stuff because they can.
That's fair. I believe that.
Yeah, and I thought it would be fun to guess these beloved performances by the bad review.
Oh, that sounds brilliant. Okay.
I'm completely on board.
So it's a competition, guys.
Yes.
Please wait until I get to the end of the review before you say which performance it is.
Tell me
Greece.
what to do.
Do we have buzzer noises?
No, we don't have buzzer noises. But we
Greece.
will
Can I make one?
in post. Yes.
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera is on this list.
Well, there you go. I've already won. So.
You know what?
Cheating.
Just for that, dear, I'm going to give you 1 point.
Yes!
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Winning.
Dear,
Hey,
you are
I
such a
make the
bitch.
rules here. All right. Let's start with our first performance. I hope you guys are all ready. You all got your theatre minds in? Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. The main of this performance was played by a Japanese-American actor. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison were played by African-American actors. Our founding fathers singing hip-hop. I love history, and I thought that this play was a historical musical about the main character and his founding friends. What a letdown. I wish someone would have warned me.
Hamilton.
Oh dear, got just in there.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, I forgot to wait until the end. I got too excited because I knew the answer. That doesn't happen
As soon
very
as you
often for
said
me.
George Washington, we all knew.
I thought that'd be a nice easy one, so I put it at the start. And yeah, Damien, I also sometimes don't make it to the end.
What were they talking What were they talking about in the review? The character was a Japanese person? Who's Japanese in Hamilton?
Dear, who is the main actor?
Oh, I know that.
Lin-Manuel
Philippa Sue,
Miranda,
she sang
who's that?
Burn.
Oh, Philippa. Yeah.
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 She one of the Schuyler sisters?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was Eliza.
Eliza, yeah. I see that.
Okay, here we go.
It's just a bit racist.
So were they being
really.
racist?
A
Yes.
little bit, yeah.
Wow. Can't do that in 2020.
You like racism? Strap yourselves in.
Oh, good.
Oh boy. Benny, did you write these reviews yourself?
I wrote all these reviews.
It's not surprising.
Did you watch them first, or was it just preemptive?
I will say that one of these plays is not universally beloved, but I love it.
Okay.
So you can guess which one that is. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Alright, on to the next one. We've still got a point up for grabs here.
Dun, dun, dun.
We heard this... Thank you, dear. We heard this play was irrelevant and funny. It was blasphemous and horrid. To my everlasting shame, we left at intermission. Should have walked out way earlier. I love Broadway musicals, plays. This is the worst event I have ever attended or even watched. Intermission, it was so bad I had to leave. I felt like I needed a shower after this. Maybe disinfected. A lot of the audience was laughing out loud. I cringed at probably the most obscene event I've ever spent money on. Due to vigilance. Please avoid this piece of garbage in the future.
The Book of Mormon.
You're on! And is finally on the board.
As soon as I said blasphemous.
It was the blasphemous thing.
Blasphemous, of course.
It's either that or Jesus Christ Superstar.
So I saw Book of Mormon on West End. I thought it was quite good.
I enjoyed it.
I'm a big fan. I saw it in Melbourne. Very good too.
Not everyone has the same money as you, Damien. Not everyone's a white rich male.
Oh no, my brother shouted me in for the West End.
Aww.
Is your brother
a
also
surprise.
a white rich man?
I got off the train and I was like, Lion King's in town. He's like, oh, I didn't get you Lion King, but he...
On the list, by the way.
Of course,
Alright.
Lion King's on the
Okay.
list.
Alright.
So I'm 0. Here we go.
It's alright, now's your chance. Impossible to follow this story since everyone was singing opera style, and often more actors were singing at once. Almost no dialogue, very incoherent, very uncomfortable seats.
Les Mis.
Oh, no.
Phantom
Rent.
of the Opera.
Wait, Damon, what would you say?
Rent?
No, it was Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
Do I get a point for that?
Yes, you get a point.
Yeah.
these guys learn opera.
I said opera. Rent's not opera.
It's rock opera.
Everything's opera.
I disagree, but okay.
Alright, this is a bit of a long one, but I enjoyed. By the way, when I was doing the research for this, I had tears going down my eyes. I was laughing so much because I deliberately went onto the Broadway review pages and just you know how you can sort them, just 1 star.
Oh god. Okay.
I would say that every single one of these performances has 4.5 stars on that website.
Okay, good.
I've been going to Broadway since 1977, and I've seen dozens of shows. This show was the first show where I was ready to leave at intermission, but my wife said she wanted to see the second half just to see if it was better. Usually the opening number sets the tone, and in this case a Luckbuster opening scene did set the tone for a Luckbuster show. I was shocked at the start, and it never got better. The set made no sense, just a lot of gears hanging around for no reason. The music was nothing to write home about, bland. The costumes, other than the 2 witches, didn't make sense at all. The story made no sense. There were a couple of side stories that seemed absolutely ridiculous.
Wicked.
The few
Sorry.
very funny lines
I'm sorry.
were juvenile. But you know what, Damien? Since you have none on the board, I'm going to give you that one.
Hey,
I'll
Benny,
take it.
are you trying to say
Yeah.
lackluster when you're saying blackbuster?
Well, no, because that's how the person wrote it.
Okay.
Ah.
Their
Yeah.
writing is terrible.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Some of the...
What was the play?
Wicked.
It was wicked.
2 witches, of course.
As soon as
What?
you said gears, I was like,
I was going to say, I thought the gears
I was
gave it
confused by
away.
the
Yeah, no,
gears,
Gears gave
and
it
then
away.
he said wicked. I was like, oh yeah.
Sorry, I did think you'd stopped. There was a pause, and I was like, I'm on it. I won on the board.
No,
Me
I'm
too.
I was trying to act. This is one of my favourites. Okay. Awful, terrible experience. Way overweighted. What a waste of time. Rap jargon didn't make any sense. The historical figure that this is based on is probably turning over in his grave. Next time, let's have the writers do a bio of MLK with Oriental actors and Oriental music. It just doesn't fit. It's a total waste of time and money.
Is this Hamilton again?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it?
Yeah. I just love the casual racism of lower class America. Alright, this person I want to track down and write a play with. I just think we get along. The production was great, the acting was excellent, but the story is gut-wrenchingly depressing. If you can watch this show and not pay attention to the story, just take in the sounds and colours and movements, you might enjoy it. But if you listen to the words, especially the main song, I Dreamed a Dream, you can't help but think, gee, I'd rather be having a root canal right now. When Susan Boyle sang I Dreamed a Dream, it sounded wonderful. Watched and listened to it in the real show, you want to tear your ears off when you realise it's not about a dream from last night about butterflies or green pastures. P.S. I like shows and movies with happy endings. Forget this one, everyone dies.
Les
Oh
Mis.
my god, that's Les Mis.
It's obviously
Yep.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I think Lauren got right in there.
What? What? Just,
Yes.
two different songs. Then, have you read the book? What the?
It's a big slog, that book.
It
Do you
is.
need a moment, dear?
I love the idea. Like, you know, this family was going to see Les Mis, and they're like, well, after Susan Boyle performed that song beautifully, this is going to be a lighthearted romp, I can tell you that.
I'd like to think that it was a first date that he
Yeah.
took someone on and was just like, this is going to work real well.
I am broken. I am actually broken.
She'll be so depressed, she'll have to take me into bed.
How can someone be like? I get it, to each their own opinion, but like it's. Ah!
I think that review broke Dia. Are there emails attached to them?
Did you write that, Benny?
Yes, I wrote that
Yeah.
after I sat through Les Mis.
Oh. Wow.
Alright. If I could give a negative review of this show, I would. Worst piece of campy crap I've ever seen. This show made me wish I died during the show. It is a never-ending story with bad one-liners, bad singing, and off-color jokes. When I left the theater, I felt I had been raped and violated with the boomstick he used. Although, it probably would have been a more pleasurable thing than actually seeing the show. Just horrible. Save your money and go see anything else but this show. Watching a dog relieving himself on the street would be more entertaining.
Oh my
Harry
god.
Potter and the Cursed Child?
No.
No.
The boom is
The
throwing me.
boomstick. What's
Yes,
a
the
boomstick?
boomstick.
I was thinking Kinky
What
Boots
would
when you
that
said
be
campy.
from?
Mrs. Doubtfire?
Boom.
You guys get one hint.
Does he mean broom?
Oh.
That's what I thought.
No, he means boom.
Boom.
I'll give you guys one hint.
Boom. Like a.
Hail to the king, baby.
Yeah.
All the men in my life keep getting killed
No.
by
No.
Canterbury and Tea.
No.
Really?
Evil
Evil
Dead.
Alright, dear got in there.
Hey.
Oh, the boomstick was a gun.
Yes, but the bird's gun, the boomstick.
I see.
That was.
How
Damien,
can
yes,
you get
so-
away with saying I'd like to be raped by the boomstick or whatever he said? Like, that's really distasteful.
It's so over the
So
top.
bad.
You know what, dude? If that's what you really want, I'm sure we can organize it.
Was it a loaded boomstick?
I can't help but feel that one was written by someone who got rejected after their audition for the show. Like, that felt oddly personal to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
I feel like he'd be the kind of guy that would say girls deserve to be raped when they wear a particular type of clothing.
Yeah.
Probably.
There was one review, and I just couldn't put it in because it just gave it away too early. But it was like one guy who like took his date to see the performance, and he's like, you know, and she really enjoys this sort of musical theatre, so I paid for like front row seats, not knowing it was the splatter zone. And so she wore like this beautiful dress to the show and just got covered in blood.
No.
Nice. Very nice.
The singing and dancing was amazing, but I did not enjoy the storyline at all. It was very, very dark. We walked out halfway through the second half as I couldn't stand the talk of suicide, bullying, and violence. No idea what the ending was. Definitely not a show to see if you're more mature and have been involved with bullying and suicide. This is not a safe performance for teenagers at school.
Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Rent?
No.
No?
No.
No. Do
Wait,
you guys
was it West Side Story?
Is it
or
not
something?
Dear
Because
Evan
there was
Hansen?
violence.
do you guys need another hint? Do you guys need a
Yes,
hint?
please.
Yeah.
Well, honey, what you waiting for?
Heathers.
Step into it. Damien got it.
Ah, oh yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not
Ah,
a
that's
pussy
what they're going on
anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be in my head all day now.
Yeah.
You know,
thanks,
if this
Benny.
woman, and I assume it's a woman, let's be fair, but, you know, no, because, like, statistically speaking, 60% of audience members are women in it. If they'd stayed to the end, they would have seen that it is actually very anti-suicide and anti-bullying.
This is true.
60% of audience members may be women, but what percentage of women would go online and write a bad review? I
Yeah,
feel
that's
it's definitely more of a man's thing.
Yeah, I think so as well, actually.
I don't know, maybe it was a dual effort. Maybe it was a couple.
Well, how many people write bad reviews of our show?
You know, they
What's
could
It
the
be
actually
old.
difference?
sounded like parents, to be honest. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
do
were
you
saying
reckon that
it's not
most of
for
these
kids.
come from old people?
Old people who have no lives? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Old people do like the theatre.
That Evil Dead musical one definitely came from an old person.
Cat person?
Back in my day, we used to describe any unfortunate event as being raped. It's because they're old.
I thought that was a review there for a second, and I'm like, I can't peg that show. I was like, which musical was this?
Wow.
That's an interesting review of Mean Girls.
Oh,
Yeah. Frozen really took a turn.
All these are like Disney Cruise Line reviews. Toy Story was really different. This show is not a Broadway play. It is an opera with very little storyline. Wanted to leave at intermission, but my wife wouldn't let me. Too much pyrotechnics. If the theatre catches on fire, we're all dead. It's happened before. Now I'm going to read on the internet what the show was supposed to be about. Something about a chandelier.
Phantom
Phantom
of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, I'm going to give it to all of you at that.
Yay!
Yes.
But I was clearly the first.
Oh, I don't know about
But
that.
for
How are you
my
guys
friends-
feeling? I'm winning here. I don't know how many points I've got, but I'm
But,
winning.
but you'll win.
You feel you're winning, do you?
I think I've got at least 4. Are you keeping track, Benny?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I'm on like 1.5, maybe 2.
Oh.
I'm probably on like 10.
Bullshit.
Free
Now you're just overcompensating.
points. I always do.
Yeah, that's what I do. Why do you reckon I got into theatre?
Hey.
I figured at 3 inches I could have the biggest penis.
Well, I'm sure you're not far off.
Oh boy.
You'll get there one day.
Yeah. Just push it.
Could you
Push it
imagine?
real good.
Penis enlargement surgery is just like giving birth. Just push, man, push.
One day.
I wanted my money back after 15 minutes. This was awful, really awful. Others have already made the same comments for me. I wish I had checked before purchasing tickets. Performances were phoned in and uninspired. The storyline was poor. I usually leave the theatre singing show tunes for several days. My niece who accompanied me said it was the best thing she'd ever seen, and she was surprised that they couldn't make Elton John's beautiful song seem lame or worse. Do not waste your money.
Lion King.
Hold on.
Yep, correct. I did Lion King.
Yay! I won.
I haven't seen Lion King, so I can't comment.
It's
But the
Circle of
puppetry,
Life
it
is the Elton John song that we're talking about.
I went Moulin Rouge. I thought it was like, this is your song.
Yeah, I got really confused when he said the Elton John song, and then Dia said Lion King. I was like, oh yeah, makes sense.
It's the circle of life.
This one, I don't know if this one will be a hard one. I think you guys will get it. I actively disliked it. Yes, it had beautiful sets, some beautiful people to watch, but it's a stupid story that hinges upon the premise that the heroine must bring the hero's important music to the people. That's ironic considering there's no original music in the show. It was all music from pop charts sung by people with pleasant voices, Broadway voices, but not by great original voices like Adele, Lady Gaga, or Elton John. The script is a jumble. At points, just a mashup of song lyrics. Indeed, the lyrics determine the story rather than the other way around. The acting is over the top. And if you go, get there early. The pre-show music was the best.
Mamma Mia?
It does
Is it
begin
the
with an M.
Spice Girls? Oh, it starts with M.
Moulin Rouge?
My Fair Lady?
Correct.
Oh.
Moulin Rouge.
I thought Moulin Rouge right up until you said no Elton John, and I'm like, no, there's an Elton John song in there.
Maybe they don't.
Maybe they left
know
before
about
that song came on.
Maybe they...
Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe they lived at
they're
half time.
uninformed.
This is the second to last one.
Okay, so I can still make a comeback.
Yeah.
Because this one's worth
Yeah.
double points right now.
Underdog.
Do you know what? Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
For everyone apart from Damien, for Damien only, it's worth
Yes.
double points.
Alright,
Oh.
but
That is
even if I
very
get the double
sexist,
points, guys, I
object.
still think I'm behind if I get the double points, so...
You can definitely, if you get the 2 next ones, you can definitely come in second.
Oh, I do love a silver medal.
This is.
I should have definitely done better research before going and seeing this show. You think, oh well, the show's won 7 Tonys. How can it be bad? Well, it was plain awful. The opening act was somewhat funny, but it all went downhill from there. I could not agree more with the previous reviewer who said, when did saying fuck God and the asshole become something to celebrate?
Jesus.
I am not
Jesus
even
Christ.
religious. They made jokes about raping babies. How is that funny? The worst religious satire ever. If you have any moral values about your life, save your money and go see another show.
Book of
Book of
Mormon?
Mormon.
Jeez, dear, you're just killing it.
Do they seriously make jokes about fucking babies or whatever
They
they do?
do. They make a joke about raping a... It's not particularly a joke about raping a baby. It's that the thing was that some of them believed that sleeping with virgins would cure their AIDS, and there weren't many virgins left. So
Oh.
yeah,
So it's what, because there's not to get dark on you, but there are witch doctors in Africa who teach the same thing, and they have a huge problem with that. Okay.
For the record, guys, does not work. Do not try it at home.
Please
They,
don't.
you have,
Yeah.
do you have, like, experience in this? How do you know it doesn't work?
Look, I'm just gonna go on a limb and guess. I mean, I may not be a medical expert, but yeah.
Considering AIDS is sexually transmitted, having sex is probably not going to fix it.
That's a good point. If anything, you'd give the baby AIDS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah.
I feel like
Thank you
die
all for
pretty
listening.
quickly.
Please like, subscribe, and share to our podcast.
Don't have sex with
So
babies
cheery.
when you have AIDS.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, just don't in general, even if you don't like.
Yeah.
Just bad idea.
Don't do it.
Yeah, the maternity ward is not a bar.
I put one on here.
Like,
But I always get so drunk here, you know?
yeah. What you doing for your evening? Yeah, I'm gonna get a 6-pack and go to the NICU. Like, just don't do it.
You shoving your tampon up your nose, Benny?
Yes.
Do you have a nosebleed?
Yes. All right, the last one,
You learned
guys.
a lot.
This one's going to be ultra hard because they don't give away anything of what the performance is.
And is ultra hard
So
supposed
it's
to be
pretty
a
much
clue?
going to be a guess.
Okay.
But whoever gets this right will get 10 points.
Oh, what?
And therefore win the game.
That's
Oh,
bullshit.
I love it.
That is... No.
I think this is the fairest thing I've heard all day.
Yeah.
You only say that because you're losing.
It's true. It's true.
Man, am
I
I
will say
right,
this.
dear?
Oh, yeah, disgusting.
As part of it, it is one of the performances that we've already gone through.
Spider-Man.
Okay. No, like one of the performances I've already read one of the reviews for.
Okay.
Oh, a double
Okay.
dipping.
A double up again.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through them all again, just so you guys have a clear mind.
Let's
so
all
it's
go
so-
a different one, too.
Yes. So far it's been Hamilton, Book of Mormon, Phantom of the Opera, Wicked, Les Mis, Evil Dead, Heathers, Mean Girls, The Lion King,
Which
Moulin
one was
Rouge.
Mean Girls? This
Oh, shit,
one's
I-
Mean Girls.
Which one was Mean Girls?
Shit, I skipped Mean Girls.
Benny.
Oh well. Let's...
So it's not Mean Girls.
Okay.
Do you want me to read the review anyway?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay. When you go to a Broadway musical, you expect great stage settings. Well, certainly not in this play. The sets were mostly lights and a few rolling doors. But above all, the play sets such a horrible lesson for your kids. It's everything bad about high school with no morals. Everything you hope that your teenage daughters will not fall for at that age. Please stay away from this horrible show.
Heathers.
No, that was Mean Girls. I
That was
said
Mean
I was going to read the review anyway.
Oh, I thought you said you were skipping that.
Yeah.
No, but then
damn
I said
it.
I'd read it anyway.
Ah,
Oh.
you
Can I
brat.
get a point for that?
Yeah, sure.
Lauren listens.
Sure. Okay, alright.
What's new? I always listen and you guys don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the review that's going to be a flat out guess. Rude staff, amazing cast. It's hard to enjoy a show when the ushers and security and ticket takers are rude, condescending, and berating the customers who pay them. That was the whole review. 1 star for this performance.
Really, because of the. Okay.
Yep.
That could be any play,
Could be
though.
any.
Like, it's just. Why would you write a review on a play based on the staff?
Because
Yeah,
they're
you
You should be
all-
writing a review about the theatre.
Yeah, I feel it's more of a theatre-based review.
Yeah. Okay, let's all go a different one.
What
I
do
like
you guys
that
think?
idea. All right. Does anyone want to shotgun on a particular guess? Like, we'll all make a guess, and then Benny can tell us if any of us are right.
I'm gonna
Okay.
guess Wicked.
Can you guess Wicked?
Ooh.
I was gonna go Wicked, but I'll go Les Mis.
And
Right,
we
I'll
have
go-
a winner!
What? Wait, what?
Gia Taylor, you are the winner of the first ever Bad Review competition! At 19 points.
Shit, yeah. Woo! Who came second and third?
Lauren, you came second at 5 points.
Yeah.
It was close.
And
it was
Damien,
close.
you came third on 3 points.
Whoa, 3? I
that's
thought I had
good.
2. I'm actually doing 50% better than I thought I was.
That's right, you really outdid yourself, Damien.
I mean, I was, yeah. I tried.
Tap
all
on the
proud of you.
back. Pat on the back.
There you go. Yeah, pat.
Ugh.
Remember in primary school, we'd go pat on the back, 1, 2, 3, well done me.
It's a
Aww.
bit. It just feels a bit patronising, doesn't
It
it?
is a little bit, yeah.
It would save the money
Yeah.
on participation awards, though, so.
Yes.
True.
So now we're going to cut to a music break. The song is from Grace Turner, and it is Easy I Fall. It's a really good song, guys. You'll enjoy it.
Oh, tell me your stories, I find them really boring. Oh, I can see that you tried to earn my affections, but see, I've got these afflictions. All I do is hang my head and cry.
Alright, hey guys, this is You Can't Rewrite Theatre, and today we're looking at a classic of Broadway and the West End, Chicago. Damien, you're quite the fan of Chicago, and I'm quite lazy when it comes to research. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what Chicago is?
Okay, so I had a lot of fun researching Chicago. So basically, Chicago was set in the 20s. It was first staged in 1975 on vaudeville, and it is the longest running show on Broadway. So it overtook Cats 6 years ago, and it's had a lot of big names on it.
Thank God.
So Catherine Zeta-Jones was in the movie adaptation. Former Spice Girl Mel B played Roxy Hart.
What?
Yeah, Billy Ray Cyrus has
So did
been on
Renee
Broadway.
Zellweger.
Wait, what did Billy Ray
What did he
Cyrus
do?
play?
It doesn't say, it just said he joined the cast. So I'm guessing it was not Billy Flynn.
He
But
was the guy who got killed at the start.
you know
They
who
literally
did play?
just had him walk out and he got shot.
Fred Casely. Love it.
So I found out that Usher played Billy Flynn on Broadway in 2006.
Can Usher even act?
Well, you see, he was ushering people into the show and they're like, the guy died, so get up there.
I'm going to give you a slow clap for that one.
Yeah, okay.
Also, Patrick Swayze in 2003.
Whoa, that would
Nice.
be...
That would
That
have
would
been
be
excellent.
near the end of his life.
Wow.
So anyway, so Chicago is basically Roxy Hart is set on becoming a star. She sees her name in the lights. Everyone's going to love her. She hooks up with a guy. She's married. She hooks up with a guy who says he's going to get her a gig. It goes south. She shoots the guy. She is put onto essentially death row, which is the Mary Murderess's row, which is a bunch of women who have all been on trial for murder, essentially. So she is guilty, but she doesn't want to get hanged, so she enlists the help of Billy Flynn, who is an excellent lawyer. A little bit morally questionable, but, you know, he does his
So,
job
a
well.
lawyer.
Yeah, a lawyer, but, you know, the best lawyer. So long story short, she gets off scot-free, and nobody cares about her in the end, because the next story comes along, and no one's there for Roxy Hart.
And she is a bit old as well.
Is she though?
No.
I mean, old news, certainly, but by the end. But she has her moments. But no, I quite enjoyed this one. I've definitely got a soft spot for it. It ages very well. I mean, I feel that because it's set in the 20s, it's not going to get dated. Like, it's always going to be kind of a very genre-specific thing. I mean, you've got, like, the styling of Fosse, like, the costuming is always really good. Like, Melbourne's production, I was a little bit skeptic on the costuming. There was a lot of black mesh, which didn't really give me a 20s vibe. Like, sure, it had, like a seductive feel to the performance, but I'm not really sure what black mesh was doing for the 20s.
What about if they were actually trying to do the 1820s?
I mean, that could have been really interesting. I mean, you know, some petticoats, all that, and I was going to say plague, but I'm not sure. Was that 1820s?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah. So not quite the same. Less prohibition, for sure.
Okay, so in this segment, we take it upon ourselves to rewrite the classic plays, and of course, this one is Chicago. Should I go first?
Mhm.
Okay, I think you'll all enjoy this one because it's definitely not sexist.
Oh, that's
But,
the first.
Yeah, but I also find that Chicago sometimes can be a little bit sexist, the play, and rather than hiding that and updating it, just embrace it. That's what I say. I say always embrace your flaws. So this is set in the future. Governments have very little power, always bowing to corporate interest. So apparently it's the future. Corporations run everything. Once again, guys, the future. This is a male-dominated world. The future. Women are treated as second-class citizens. And
The future?
Yes. Male corporation owners believe that women are stupid and emotionally driven, unlike their male counterparts. But how did we get to this point, guys? Well, I thought that half the fun would be going through the history that led up to these decisions, because I'm a noted historian. Well, in the early 21st century, Ben Shapiro shared his disgust at the Cardi B song WAP. He explained that women shouldn't have vaginas that are so sexually aroused that cleaning products are needed. He was mocked for not being able to sexually stimulate his wife to the point where her own genitalia would produce self-lubricant. But he didn't take this lying down, guys. He's Ben Shapiro. He ran for president using the support of the Nazi and QAnon groups. He won the election in a landslide because of voter fraud. He then proceeded to remove all gender study classes from universities, and slowly over the next 40 years, President Shapiro, he got the constitution changed and, became president for life. Removed all knowledge of the female orgasm and most female rights. Our story starts on Luna with young Roxy. She's at work at this big, large company called Rainforest. They sell a bunch of stuff. It's not an anagram for anything. Extremely large and evil corporation. She's been trapped in the manager's office, who attempts to sexually assault her. Grabbing the purple vibrator that the manager uses to pleasure himself in between meetings, Roxy kills her attacker. She calls the police and a media circus ensues. The company is extremely angry, but, the police handle it. The company comes in, pays for everything, and Roxy's husband is very applauded. He's very angry that Roxy would lead on her manager, but, he understands that women are very emotional and agrees to pay for a lawyer. The company takes Roxy to a debrief meeting about the legal proceedings that will come. At the meeting, Roxy meets Vicky. Now, guys, I've sent you a scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like us all to open it, because I thought it would be important to give the audience a sort of taste of what this would be like. So I wrote up a small scene, and I think we should perform it for them.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm thinking, Damien, since I wrote this when you weren't part of this episode, can you read the stage directions?
Not a worry.
Yeah. I'll, of course, be playing Big Daddy. Lauren, do you want to play Roxy? And
Sure.
Dia, you can play Vicky.
Does
Okay.
Big Daddy have a southern accent? Because he sounds like he should have a southern accent.
I'll try to put on a southern accent for you.
You make me happy.
Right.
This scene takes place in Big Daddy's office. Billy, Big Daddy's assistant, is outside the office. Enter Roxy.
Hey, Roxy, come on. No, actually, I dropped it all, man. I'm just going to play this sleazy.
Was that Jamaican?
Hey, Roxy, come on in. I'm just talking to Vicky. You see, Vicky, tomorrow, in front of the company directors, you got to be showing off those tits. Show the directors that even though women aren't smart, they're nice to keep around.
That's kind of sexist.
What's wrong with being sexy?
I thought we were having a meeting.
Yeah, see, the company thinks it'll be cheaper to try you two together, given how similar your cases are. Sit down, Toots.
Roxy sits down.
Were you defending yourself too?
Yeah, I'm sick of my husband beating me for wanting to spend time with my friends, so I shot him while he slept. Once in the cock, twice in the head.
I don't think our cases are similar.
No, they're exactly the same. See, let me explain something to you so you can understand, sugar tits. When you both called the police, the media showed up, and all our fucking shareholders saw that there were some problems, and our share price dropped.
We've been tried for murder, and you're complaining about share prices?
Oh, what? No, let me explain something. Let me explain things in ways you can understand. We own the cops. The charges have been dropped. Murder is a normal part of corporate life. I killed 16 of my managers to become HR supervisor. My assistant, Billy, he's tried to kill me 3 times. Hey, Billy! Billy! You tried to kill me 3 times, yeah? That you know of? I'm gonna kill you. I'm sure you will. See, the company doesn't give a shit about murder. But we will not allow our share price to drop. Do you know what happens when the share price drops?
Yeah, we know what happens when the share price drops.
Yeah, honey, I don't think you do, so let me explain.
You do know what mansplaining is, yeah?
Mansplaining is when an expert explains it to dumb broads.
The share price drops and the company loses money.
Well done. I'm impressed. Alright, sexy. Your husband said he'd pay for the lawyer, and I think it'll be hard enough finding 1 robot, let alone 2.
What do you mean robot? We want a lawyer.
And you are getting a lawyer. A lawyer robot. Look, no man wants to defend let alone 2 women who costed a company money. Anyway, I have a meeting, so go put on your makeup or something, and yeah, just look pretty for the trial tomorrow.
Vicky and Roxy walk out of the office. Billy is pouring poison into Big Daddy's coffee.
You two make me sick.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I love it.
So, as we can tell, this world is just a little bit sexist towards women.
A little bit.
That's the
Some
word.
mild undertones.
Just a little.
Yeah. Very, very 50s corporate culture.
Out of personal curiosity, what was the coroner's cause of death when the guy was killed by the purple dildo? Vibrator?
I assume they... I have no idea, actually. How would you describe that?
I don't know. It depends exactly specifically how it was used to kill them. You've got a
Blunt
multitude of
force
options
trauma.
there.
If it was a really big one, and she smacked him hard enough.
Hey, sounds like you may as well have just clubbed him with a baseball bat.
Yeah, I watched a movie one time where
Crazy.
yeah, where this woman she was being abused by this guy, and so she wanted to get revenge. So she drugged him and she inserted a vibrator up his ass, and it was plugged in, and she left him there and let him burn out.
Ooh.
It was a thrilling movie. Anyway, back on this. So Roxy and Vicky meet with their robot lawyer who says they should both, and this is actually a note from Mel. She looked over this and gave me a little bit of inspiration, and this part is very much her, because it's a collaborative process. Roxy, don't die, dear. Roxy and Vicky meet with their robot lawyer who says they both should say they're pregnant with boys so the company may take pity on them. Both decline. He then explains that they should try not to have their periods during the trial and try to have their periods afterwards because they don't want to be emotional when they're talking. Later, Vicky explains to Roxy that she was planning to leave her husband anyway. She just knew that he wouldn't be prosecuted for what he did to her, so she had to make sure he couldn't harm another person. She goes on to tell Roxy that her friend was in fact a lover, and the lover had actually given her an orgasm. Roxy is very confused because she's never even heard what an orgasm is before. So as best as she can, Vicky explains to her what an orgasm is and explains that she doesn't actually need another person around to have one. See, good part of a female health.
Girl power.
Yes. Vicky also...
Liberating.
Yes. Roxy also explains to Vicky that she feels like the right thing to do would be to forgive her attacker even though she killed him. Vicky explains that she is under no obligation to ever forgive a person who's attacked her or wronged her, and she shouldn't feel obligated to. Roxy doesn't think they'll win the trial, and if they do, no doubt they'll have to say sorry to their attackers. Vicky tells Rocky that she's heard of a planet where they send women who are criminals and can't be re-educated. They both decide they would rather live on this planet than live in this male-dominated world. At the trial, to their dismay, they see that Big Daddy is in fact the judge. They both decide to give the court the razzle-dazzle and during the song get close enough to Big Daddy to murder him in front of the entire court.
Oh.
Just sealing their fates and sending them to the planet of women, which is in fact a prison camp. But they're happy because, they get away from this world and they'd rather live there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had it coming.
Yeah. I think this is the most uplifting, child-friendly musical I've ever made.
I mean, you're not wrong compared to the other ones.
Hey, only 4 people died in this one. I like to, I was actually gonna end it with Billy accidentally poisoning, but then I thought no, the women need to kill Big Daddy. You can't say all this sort of sexist, horrible shit and not die.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the other option is they could run for president.
Oh, yeah, and get elected.
Run their own planet.
Mm.
But yeah, I was very inspired by the comic Bitch Planet, so it's based on that. If you haven't read Bitch Planet, check it out. It's essentially a world where any sort of tiny thing that women do gets them a prison sentence. So if they don't make a man coffee, they get sent to prison.
Lovely.
Yeah.
We're not far off that, huh?
But anyway, Lauren,
Mm-hmm.
what were you thinking?
So I've taken a leaf out of Benny's book and written a scene-ish. But
You are
basically-
stealing my gimmick.
Yeah. Basically, Roxy Hart is a marionette puppet, so kind of like Pinocchio, and she dreams to be a living and breathing human. And she lives with her creator, Amos. He's old and dull, but she's got him wrapped around her finger. Amos's best friend, Fred Casely, spends a lot of time at their house and likes to play with Roxy. He poses her in embarrassing positions and bends her body in ways that the human body can't be bent. Occasionally, when Amos isn't looking, Fred will get sexual with Roxy, kissing her painted lips and stroking her wooden breasts. Now, one day, Fred arrives while Amos isn't home. He lets himself in and goes to the room where Roxy is. He picks her up and plays with her like he usually does. But this time, he's rough with Roxy, and more disturbed than he usually is. Roxy becomes fed up with Fred's crude behaviour and twists herself so that her strings wrap around his neck. You see, Fred didn't know that although she's a puppet, Roxy is alive. She can move and talk on her own. So Fred claws at the string around his neck. Rosie tenses, tightening the string until Fred falls to the floor. Cue Fred. Please, please, he screams, but Roxy doesn't let go. She's pulling her strings until Fred is dead.
Nice.
An hour later, Amos arrives home to see Fred dead and Roxy detached from her strings.
What happened?
He came toward me with your pistol from your bureau.
Did you fight him?
Like a tiger. He had strength. I had none, and he had a gun.
Oh, that's a good thing. I came home from work on time. I can't imagine if he'd violated you or something.
Oh, Amos.
I'll make you a cup of tea as well.
Oh, Amos, you have to take the blame for it. You're sure to get off. If someone like me went to jail, who knows what they'd do to me?
I mean, I feel since you're a puppet, I'm gonna be blamed for it anyway. Okay.
And so Roxy convinces Amos to take the fall. But when he gets to trial, Amos breaks and tells the jury the truth about how Roxy really killed Fred, that she was his creation and how he regretted giving Fred the spare keys to his house, and that maybe if he didn't, Fred wouldn't be dead. But the jury just laugh, calling him a madman, and send him away to a psych ward instead of prison.
Point made there.
A flash forward to 10 years later, Roxy is still in Amos's house where Amos left her the night Fred was killed. The house is old and deteriorating. Roxy has no strings and is walking around. She looks somewhat happy. The doorbell rings. Roxy opens it. we see the famous reporter, Billy Flynn. Billy comes inside and Roxy offers him a drink. When she returns back, her strings are detached, and she kills Billy the same way she killed Fred. Before he breathes his last breath, Roxy kisses Billy, and she transforms into a human.
Am I sorry? Are you kidding?
Then she steps over Billy's body and exits the house. Sirens are heard in the air. The end.
Nice. That was that was different.
I like that.
Yeah.
It raises an interesting point with like artificial intelligence and everything like that. Do you think we'll ever come to a stage where like sex robots have rights?
I don't know. It depends how advanced our programming gets, I guess.
That keeps me awake at night, Benji.
Well, something has to.
This is true.
I mean, it does kind of ruin Pinocchio for me. Like, I see Geppetto in a whole different light.
Oh no.
We had to carve out the bits.
Yeah, well, he's got no strings to hold him down, but...
He was looking at Pinocchio and he was like, you know what would make this better rather than that long nose? A set of luscious tits.
I'm gonna have my shake now.
Boy, I did not expect that, but okay.
Okay, Damien, do you want to... did you write...
I didn't write a scene, but I
That's
did
okay.
have a take on it. So basically, I was going back to the Salem witch trials.
Oh, I like this.
Cool. So Roxy Hart is an actual witch, so like she knows witchcraft. So she takes a lover in the village. It goes south. She puts a hex on him, and he dies. But obviously, her husband has to take the blame because otherwise she's going to get convicted of witchcraft. So he finds a voodoo doll of himself in her bedside table, or whatever furniture they had back then. He finds a voodoo doll of himself, and he decides that he can't go on with it. He's going to turn her in. So even though she's a witch, she's not amphibious. If they drop her in the river to determine if she's a witch or not, she will in fact drown. So she enlists the help of the mayor's son to get her off trial. So she offers him a love potion to have any girl that he wants in the village in exchange for granting him her freedom.
Ooh, what if he picks her, though?
Ooh, who knows? Who knows? But no, he's the mayor's son. He can have any tail he wants. And who wants a witch, right? They're only going to get that.
I reckon dating a witch would be a turn-on.
I guess it depends. I mean, like, modern day witch or old school witch? Like Harry Potter witch? Like voodoo kind of witch? Like, what kind of witch we talking?
I don't know. I feel like old school witch would be a lot more older, which itself would be a different sort of fetish.
What about like a Wiccan kind of witch where they're like, you know what, I need you,
That's
in order
what I
for this
want.
relationship to work, you have to go bathe in a bathtub full of milk under the full moon with several eels, okay? It's just a relationship thing for me.
I mean, at least I don't have to watch, like, Married at First Sight.
That's some witchcraft right there. Anyway, sorry, where was I? So the mayor's son. She's enlisted the help of the mayor's son because she's not willing to perform her own razzle-dazzle. It's too risky, obviously. She can't be caught doing actual witchcraft again. Now, my ending actually goes south. She doesn't get off. She does get convicted. So in my story, she's more like the French girl. Except, actually guilty. That and the fact that if it was, in fact, the Salem things, they wouldn't really get a trial. They'd just get dunked in a lake. Yeah, so it's not quite the upbeat ending where Roxy gets off and goes on to live a happy life in show business. But I feel it is accurate to the era and the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, our stories are very similar, as in, like, Roxy doesn't get off.
Hey.
Although she did get wet in mine.
Ah! Don't let Ben Shapiro know that. It scares him.
Love it.
Okay, Dia.
Oh, yeah.
Want to ask you your version of Chicago?
My turn. Alright, yep, my turn. Okay, so I went a different way to you nut jobs.
What, a sensible script?
Believe it or not, yes. So I went around the idea that the play Chicago is based around, the place of Chicago. So instead of Chicago, I decided to move it a bit closer to home. So for those people who don't,
Melbourne.
so for those people who don't know, we are based in Melbourne, Australia. So the play is called Melbourne.
I love it already.
Crazy, right? So, instead of Roxy and Vicky, I changed them to more common names found in Melbourne. So,
Daryl.
oh god,
Bruce.
no. So Olivia wants to be a theatre actress, right? So one night, she and her lover attend a show at La Mama Theatre, where the talented Charlotte is performing. Charlotte is arrested for the murder of her husband and sister. Olivia and her lover go back home. Now, he wants sex, and he admits that he lied to her about getting her on stage.
So a normal guy.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so since, we have gun laws in Australia, she pulls out a knife and stabs him. The cops come, her husband lies for her, but when he realizes he's been cheated on, she's arrested. Now, since we don't have capital punishment anymore, she faces life in prison for murder.
You know what would have been awesome if she killed him with a boomerang?
Yeah, that's...
Like fully Australian. Just...
It's Melbourne, not the Northern Territory.
Melbourne, yes, good.
Maybe
Place
she got hit by a
noted.
train.
She killed him with a needle.
Oh, God.
God.
A needle in a strawberry.
No,
yeah.
fucking trash.
Oh, God.
Choked it with avocado toast.
Poured the
Okay.
coffee on top.
God. Alright, so at the Dame Phyllis Frost Centre, which is a women's prison in Ravenhall, Olivia is held in remand before her court date. She befriends Charlotte and manages to get the best defence lawyer in the city, William. So then the show then focuses on her appeal to the public and how she gets the liberal hipster communities to side with her through many humorous and often whimsical debates. In the Supreme Court, she is found innocent, and Olivia and Charlotte start their own theatre company in Brunswick. So that is my Melbourne take on Chicago.
In between every scene, you need Sam Newman out there, like, just complaining. These women shouldn't be convicted, Bill.
Just saying something a bit sexist and racist.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Kyle Sandilands is out there just going, man, I think that all women should do a stint in prison because they're all crazy.
Yes. Can we
Or you
get
could
rid
have
of
had Julia Gillard complaining about misogyny and sexism.
Yes. That was a good speech.
How does it go? It was
I will not
be lectured about misogyny
And
by this
sexism
man.
by this man, I will not. We had to do that in drama. once.
Yeah.
Good on her. Good freaking on her.
Since this is our 10th episode, and we do have a silent partner with us who helps write some stuff, she has also sent in a version of Chicago. Funny enough, we both based it on the same thing. I based mine on Bitch Planet, and so did she. So Mel has sent in a version, and Lauren, since you're good at reading, would you like to read it?
You've jinxed me now that you said I'm good. Alright, so Mel's version is called Chicago. Feminist approach, loosely based off comic series Bitch Planet. Characters include Roxy, Velma, Mama Morton, Billy Flynn, who's the lawyer, and Amos Hart. Wow, this is long. Style, social realism with elements of epic theatre. Love it already. Roxy Hart is a lonely housewife in 1958, living in a typical suburban American town. White picket fences and uniform houses. Every day cleans
Beautiful.
her spacious house and sighs, dreaming of the height of fame and adoration. Her adoring but naive husband, Amos, imagines her as Snow White, happily cleaning the house in order to please him, despite her occasional daydreaming. After all, what else can a married 1950s housewife aspire to? And it helps that she is a pretty young thing, of course. Amos sees that she has no troubles in the world. As adoring as Amos is of her, he always seems emotionally distant and busy with work, often working long hours at the office and then coming home and working in the home office until late into the night. Roxy doesn't take much notice of this, as the time away from her husband allows her to indulge in societal sins, or non-conformant behaviour that is acceptable for men but not for women.
I just drink.
This has always been the way in this society has functioned. A few simple rules for the ladies that include, but aren't limited to, no wearing of pants, no vote or forming of independent committees, no attending bars or consuming alcohol, no smoking, no fattening food, no empowering or enthralling music, never speaking of abortion, miscarriages, or female-related health. A trip to the hairdresser is more highly recommended than attending the doctor. And only buying the gender-regulated toys or clothes for their children, which means blue for boys, pink for girls. They must also take into account that money spent on a female child can only be 54% of the amount spent on male children, in order to get women ready for their earnings in the workforce, should they be foolish enough to enter it.
Well, that's just basic economics.
It was a well-known fact that behind closed doors, all women had their secrets that they indulged in, and it became an unspoken rule among younger women not to report anyone else for partaking in guilty pleasures. For Roxy, this is smoking and drinking and dancing to jazz by herself in the attic. Her favourite sinful tune to listen to is How Could Red Riding Hood Have Been So Very Good by A.P. Randolph, a 1925 hit that was banned from the radio for its suggestive lyrics, which she has on an old record. The tone is scratchy, but she loves that she has to strain to catch the words, just as she strains to keep her cigarettes and alcohol a secret from everyone. It is like it is a secret tune, only for her, and the audience only catches snatches of words as the song plays. Red, good, wolf, door, red, dead. One day, Amos is out, and a nosy neighbour, old, craggly Mrs. Palmer, sees Roxy dancing through the attic window whilst vacuuming her curtains. Who vacuums their curtains?
I do it every second day.
Really?
Damien, how often do you vacuum the curtains?
I've currently got Venetians. I don't vacuum them, but I did break out the feather duster just this
Oh.
morning.
Dear, how many times does Dan vacuum the curtains?
Not often, because I don't see the point. Actually, I probably should. Yeah. It's just
Thank you
kinda-
for bringing this to our attention, Mel.
Yes.
She immediately calls the compliance hotline, a system exclusively for women, to anonymously report other women of social sins, and within minutes, armed units have arrived at Roxy's unsuspecting home, shot down the door, and dragged her by her hair into the back of a van.
So
The
just
armed
normal
units-
Melbourne.
The armed units leave as quickly as they came. The other women of the neighbourhood peer through the window at the vehicles going by, then silently return to their cleaning. Roxy is taken to a shipping yard and bundled into a wooden crate. On the side, she glimpses the stamp, Chicago, for all your feminine transport needs. Wow. The next 4 hours, she is unaware of where she is being transported to. Her whole world is the blackness of the Chicago box. When Roxy finally arrives at her location, she is indoors in what looks like an interrogation room. But Roxy observes the walls made of metal, fitted with tiny black and white television screens that broadcast ads for beauty products. A matronly lady enters, dressed in a conservative sort of governess dress. She states that Roxy can call her Mama, and she is the one she should go to if she has any valid issues about her stay here. Mama drags a trolley containing a tattoo machine and a basket of crude woolen dresses that cover from the neck to the toe, except for an open back. Roxy is forced to have Jazz tattooed across her back in big letters, the brand mark of her crime, and of the prison in which she now finds herself. Mama, as she is tattooing, explains that the place that she is in is a prison for non-conformant women, known colloquially as the Rag. The women who live at the Rag are fellow non-conformants. As Roxy is introduced to her cohort, she learns that she shares a call with a lady called Velma. Sorry, that's supposed to say Cell. On Velma's back...
I want gender-neutral prisons.
On Velma's back, in big letters, she has the word pants tattooed. She was a primary school teacher who was deemed as vulgar for changing into pants to teach a physical education class. Of course she was.
Hey, it's skirts and shorts, that's it.
Yeah. On her second week on the rag, which Roxy has discovered is built from a cargo ship and floats in the middle of an unknown ocean, making all means of escape impossible. Sounds like Alcatraz, kind of.
Yeah.
She has learned that all the women on the rag seem to be married or in the midst of a divorce.
I just got on the rag. Yeah.
Is the rag a reference to a song?
I thought it was a reference to, like, when
Periods.
women have periods, yeah.
Ah, yeah, that would make
Like,
sense.
you know, you're on the rag.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Yeah. I've experienced it.
of course you have.
I need to see a doctor.
Well, but Benny, if you're bleeding once a month, please do go see a doctor.
Yeah. She has learned that all the women on the rag seem to be married or in the midst of a divorce and range from the ages of 14 to 90 years of age. She's introduced to her lawyer, Big Bill, and a sharply dressed man whose smile is slightly too wide for his face, and he explains to her that the one way off the rag is to win the annual talent pageant, but they can only enter the talent pageant with the explicit permission of their husbands on the outside. Roxy is surprised when she learns that the talent pageant is actually an annual beauty competition that she used to see broadcast on her home television, Desperate Housewives. Seeing that she has a way out of this place, she readily accepts the part of the beautiful housewife who wants to be adored for her good looks. She excitedly tells Velma of her chance to get out, and Velma is indifferent, saying that her own husband has not given her permission for her to enter the pageant, as he thinks she is too ugly to stand a chance.
What a supportive husband.
Yeah. But agrees to coach Roxy in order to win the contest. Roxy promises on the outside she will find out who runs the rag and convince them to release Velma as payment for her help. They set to work. Velma's beauty regime for Roxy is painful, but as they are reminded by the advertisements screening around them, beauty is pain. True fact. Plucking, peroxide, and perming follow. Velma manages to construct a corset from their bed frame, and though it cuts in her skin to wear, Roxy wears it and finds that when her waist is ridiculously small and her breasts pointy as bullets, that the cameras from the studio on the ship all point at her like a spotlight on an enemy plane. But it works. Velma and Roxy create a mantra for themselves when times are low, beneath the breast, referring to spirit of the heart and not their looks, which empowers them to work harder toward their goal. Months of grueling corset wearing and friendship with Velma growing, she is voted a housewife most desperate for adoration by public vote and given a holiday to a location of her choosing, which is a code phrase for release from prison.
She's going to go to Florida.
Love it. Of course, before she can leave, Roxy endures 3 painful laser removal treatments for her jazz tattoo, leaving her permanently scarred and the skin stretched so much that it leaves her with a slight hunch that she must work through in order to maintain her newfound beauty and grace. Velma and she complete her plan, and Roxy promises to get her out. Other inmates become aware of this plan, and as soon as Roxy is taken from the prison, Velma is jumped and her face and chest brutally mauled, leaving her permanently scarred. Unfortunately for Roxy, she's not able to keep her newfound beauty and must revert to how she looked before the rag, so no one suspects it was her on the Desperate Housewives. She's taken back to her home and thrown unceremoniously into the carport, having signed a stipulation from Big Bill that she is never to speak of the rag again. When she enters her house, the place is filthy, a thin layer of dust covering this place. She sighs in frustration and searches for Amos. She hears him in his home office. She swings open the door to greet him, and I suppose thank him for his permission to compete on the Desperate Housewives.
So you should have picked the Sopranos.
She is shocked to find Amos hunched over a huge bank of computers, furiously typing commands into the keyboard. There are a great bank of small black and white screens, and as Roxy approaches behind him, she sees one of them is linked to a feed from her cell on the rag, which now shows a beaten Velma lying on the bed by herself. Scanning the room, Roxy observes a poster on the wall which reads, "Wives Obey." She realizes that her husband is the mastermind of the rag, running the whole system remotely. Quietly, she leaves the office, Amos still being too preoccupied with his computer to notice her. She calmly goes to the kitchen and begins making a sandwich. Amos's favourite. Bologna and mustard. She knocks on the door of the home office pleasantly. Amos answers the door. "Honey, I'm home." Roxy grabs the sandwich and tackles him to the ground, forcing the bread and meat down his throat, and Amos struggles before stopping, having choked on the bologna. Roxy leaves his body in the hallway and goes to further inspect the office. She raids the drawers and finds a written copy of their wedding vows, with her signature, but a smaller print along the bottom, that she has never seen before, which reads, "In accordance with the law, wives must obey husbands. Any disobedience is to be reported immediately to the Regulation Authority of Girlkind, aka RAG. It is the husband's responsibility to ensure wives' obedience. Power to those men who serve mankind." Roxy recalled her wedding vows to obey. Amos had been the leader of it all, behind her back, regulating the society in which it was so hard for her and all other women to exist. Her marriage had not been even a union, as she had agreed to. Roxy immediately sits down at the computer and regards the advertisement streaming onto the prison screens, and immediately enters in her own text, "Beneath the breast." On the screen, she sees all the advertisements fade away before these words, and sees the mutilated face of Velma look up at the screen and smile. The next morning at dawn, Roxy drags the old steel garbage can to the curb of their home, struggling with the bulk of the weight. A young neighbour sees her and comes over to help. In her efforts, the bin falls and the hand of Amos falls out of the black garbage bag. The young neighbour sees this, and Roxy is sure that she will go back to the rag. Instead, the young lady gently places Amos's hand back into the bag, replaces the lid on the can, and helps Roxy drag it to the remainder of the curb. The young lady smiles cheekily at Roxy and gives a small nod before dragging her own garbage can to the curb. Roxy smiles back. Times are changing, and Roxy can make a start from within her very own home. And then she's got a note, themes. Women as antagonists to other women rather than empowering them. Women are often the harshest adversary of feminist movements, as they are content with the way things have always been.
Yeah, true.
I enjoyed it.
That was good. Yeah, that was really good.
It's definitely
Thank
fun.
you, Mel.
Yeah, thank you.
I do love the idea of him choking on a sandwich though. Like it just brings back that thing, like, you know, some men just can't handle their sandwich.
Yeah, that's right.
I like the idea that the moment a woman gets out of prison, she goes and makes her man a sandwich.
Oh, shut up.
I just love that it was bologna too. Like, it's so
Bologna and
American.
mustard.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, she wasn't making like a cucumber sandwich.
No.
No watercress here.
It's time for Benji's Weird Theater.
Hey guys, alright, this is Benji's Weird Theater. So Lauren, did I ever tell you? Somebody once told me
The world is
the
gonna
world's
roll
gonna roll
me.
me. I ate the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kinda dumb with a finger and a thumb. That's right, we're doing Shrek.
Oh yeah, I love Shrek.
Yeah. So, do I really have to explain what Shrek is? Is there someone out there that doesn't know?
Do they live in a swamp?
Ah, probably. Alright, Shrek is a 2001
They've been locked in a
animated...
castle.
It's a 2001 animated comedy film based on the 1990 book of the same name. though the movie and the book are very different. Directed by Andrew Adamson and Vicky Jensen, it features Mike Myers as the title character Shrek, Eddie Murphy as Donkey, Cameron Diaz as Princess Fiona, and John Lithgow as the great and awesome Lord Farquaad.
And that lady is the fairy godmother.
Well, no, that's
Remember the
Shrek
comedian
2.
sequel.
Jenna something?
That's Shrek 2.
Do you know how long it took me to get the pun of Farquaad?
I'm
That
still
took-
not 100% sure I get it.
Do you know why he's called that?
I do.
So pretty much why he's called Lord Farquaad is because a lot of the animators on Shrek used to work for Disney. And there is this producer that they hated. And they used to call him Fuckhead, essentially. So when they joined
We're a
DreamWorks,
children-friendly show.
they're like, why don't we make a character that looks like him and we call him Lord Farquaad? Yeah, so Fuckhead, Fuckwit, Farquaad.
Yeah.
It took. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got there eventually, but I was just like, oh my. That was very well done. That slipped past my radar for longer than I care to admit.
Okay. The story follows an ogre named Shrek, whose self-imposed solitude is suddenly broken by the invasion of annoying fairy tale creatures. They are all banished from their homes by Lord Farquaad. Determined to get his peaceful swamp back, Shrek makes a deal with Farquaad and sets out to rescue Princess Fiona from the tower guarded by a really hot dragon. He takes Fiona to be Farquaad's bride. However, it turns out the princess keeps a smelly green secret. Shrek the Musical is based on the first Shrek film, with elements thrown in from the other Shrek films. Fairy Godmother was actually in the musical. Music was by Janine Tensori, and lyrics by David Lindsay Elbury. Jason Moore took directing duties on this one. Shrek is played by Brian Darcy James, Fiona, Sutton Foster, Donkey, Daniel Breaker, and the Lord Farquaad, Christopher Cyber. I've also made a special mention here for young Fiona, who was played by Leanne Greenhouse.
Which one?
The youngest. The youngest.
They were both so good.
They were both amazing. But turns out Leanne Greenhouse, this is the only thing she's done.
Wow, she was really good. I was impressed, yeah.
Hire her. She was great.
After a trial run in Seattle, the original Broadway production opened in December 2008 and closed after 12 months. It was followed by a tour of the United States, which opened in 2010, a revamped West End production from June 2011 to 2013. It has performed in England, Asia, Poland, Spain, France, Italy, the Netherlands, Brazil, the Philippines, Estonia, Israel, Sweden, Panama, Denmark, and Frankston, Australia, where a young stage tech named Benji Ragg helped move sets.
And it was supposed to be in Melbourne until, this whole pandemic happened.
No, it was here. It just didn't do its season out. And I know this because someone had planned to take their cousins for their birthdays in late April, and that did not get to happen. So now I see trams running around mocking me because they still have the adverts on there. Yeah, it's a bit of a sore spot.
So fun fact, the guy who plays Donkey plays Aaron Burr in Hamilton.
I know, yeah.
I
I
thought he looked
googled him because I thought he
familiar.
was someone else, but he wasn't the person I thought he was.
He was the donkey.
What did we think of the story, guys?
I loved it.
I loved everything. I have nothing bad to say at all.
Yeah.
I loved how they showed the backstories of Shrek being kicked out at 7 and Fiona as a child waiting.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Yeah, I love the line, "Your ugly
Film, do
son,
they
sight
show
means
that?
your life's harder."
Yeah.
In the film, do they show Shrek getting sent away, or it's
Not in the
No,
first
talked
one.
about? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah. Actually, the bit when his dad is like, "Your ugly son, that means your life is harder."
Yeah.
It reminded me of a Daniel Tosh joke where he's like,
your life.
"No, he's like, being an ugly woman is like being a man. You're gonna have to work."
How great was the story of Farquaad being a dwarf's child? Like his dad was a dwarf.
Yeah.
Wait,
That
what?
was
Funny.
What?
Yeah, so he kept referencing his my dad would always go away to work and hi ho, hi ho. Yeah.
Was the actor on his
Buddy.
was the actor on his knees or something the whole time?
Yes.
Yes, he was. I believe he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had knee pads and he would run around on his knees. Well,
Oh.
I say run, but it's shamble
'Cause,
around
like,
on his knees.
His
Dude.
legs, they looked like they were kind of like puppet legs the way he was walking. I was like, is he, like, I was trying to figure it out. I could not figure it out.
But one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie is when they lift him off the horse and you see that he's
Yeah.
shorter because he had the legs elongated
Yeah.
to fit
I
into.
loved that the horse was plastic and he's like, good plastic horsey.
I loved the bit when he was like choosing his brides and the fucking
Number four.
yeah, no, just the way they'll say it. All right, first off we got Cinderella. She's a mentally abused shut-in.
Yeah.
They show
Sleep-
it in the movie, don't they?
Yeah, they don't exactly say that about it.
Yeah.
Sleeping Beauty, and you literally hear him like here's Sleeping Beauty waiting for us, and you literally hear him go, "Oh, she's in Tupperware as well."
Yes,
Yeah.
so what?
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
Fucking Donkey had some dark lines in this. I don't remember Donkey saying, "If you kill a man, I'll hide the body to Shrek."
Yeah.
Oh, that was in one of the songs, I think.
That
Yeah.
was beautiful.
That was great.
Fucking gingerbread scene was amazing, as it always is.
And the gingerbread was a puppet. I loved it.
The Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man.
She's married to the muffin man.
I used to know that whole scene, like right from the gingerbread man all the way through to the end of the mirror. Like I could
Not
do
the
it word for
buttons.
word.
Honestly, I didn't think that they could make a stage musical out of Shrek, but I was blown away.
I was quite
So, Fiona. Right, there was just one person playing Fiona. How did they do the transition so quickly from her as a princess to her as the ogre?
Magic.
Yeah.
they cloned her.
And what about Pinocchio? His nose, like,
Oh,
how
fuck, I
did they
must-
do that?
I have a special note here for
Yeah.
Pinocchio's nose. Just going, I love the way that it grew.
And the sound effects.
Yeah. I actually wrote that I think that the set and costumes are amazing, and this is the best costumes I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
stand out. Yep.
Yeah.
This is what Spider-Man could have been.
Yes.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, like,
What
what
was the
if-
comparison of budgets?
It's a good question. Let's have a quick look at. You guys willing to guess? Lauren, what do you think it is?
The budget?
Yeah.
50 grand.
Oof. Wow. No.
I'd say 50 mil.
Oh, no. Damien, what are you thinking?
I mean, it's between 50 grand and 50 mil. I feel somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna say like 20 mil.
It was 25 million.
Oh, wow.
I wrote that the the dragon looks like something out of the Evil Dead,
Yeah.
but it still was
Did a
my
little
favorite
bit.
scene.
Oh, of
So they
course.
only had the head of the dragon, didn't they?
Yeah, that song was amazing.
I can't remember what it was, but yes, I agree.
I did like when Lord Farquaad came out and and the audience was applauding him, and he actually like commanded them in character to keep
Yes.
applauding him.
Yeah. Love it.
And like
Love
the
it.
audience actually did it, because like those things can go horribly wrong for actors sometimes if the audience doesn't play along with you.
Oh yeah, they
So
they
much
were red
respect.
hot.
So much
Yeah.
respect to the guy who played Farquaad. Like, doing that on his
Yes.
knees and the whole thing. So
So
much
good.
respect.
I also wrote that this is the best pro shoot I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
I
They
enjoyed
mold-
it more than Hamilton. Just saying.
Yeah. So we would like to hear about the awards and reviews.
Yeah?
So it was nominated for Best Musical at the 2009 Tony Awards. It was pretty much nominated for every single category. So I'm not gonna go through them all.
Wow.
But if it was on the Tonys that were nominated for it, it lost to Billy Elliot, which I think is they were robbed. Robbed. It gets even worse. Darcy James was also nominated for Best Actor in a Musical, and he lost to the lead of Billy Elliot.
Ooh.
It did, however, win one Tony Award for Best Costumes.
Oh, there you go.
The song I'm a Believer was originally meant to be played as the audience left the theatre, but was added to the score in October 2nd, 2009, and was sung by the entire company at the end of the performance.
Yeah.
The iconic Smash Mouth tune All Star plays at the beginning of Shrek, and the song was supposed to be just a placeholder. Studio planned to put their own version of the song in there, but the audience loved it so much they decided to just leave it in there.
Good.
It received mixed to positive reviews. I don't know how anyone could think of it as mixed. The Associated Press wrote, "The folks at DreamWorks have done their darndest to make sure we were entertained at Shrek the Musical, the company's lavish stage adaptation of its hit animated movie. For most of the time, they succeed thanks to the talent of the show's 4 principal performers, the show's massive sets, and the colourful costumes. Courtesy of Tim Hadley." So there we go. I was actually trying to find who was the costume designer. They are so visual and eye-catching that they often distract from what's going on stage, though. At least I disagree. I think they add to it. Yeah. And also, Shrek is the sort of movie where, like, the main characters carry a lot of it, but it's the side characters that are doing all the heavy lifting. Like, they need to be, on point. I just feel like Pinocchio singing that song was amazing.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Yeah. So, all in all, any final thoughts for the performance?
No, I was honestly blown away. It was better than I expected it to be.
I agree.
The chemistry between Shrek and Fiona was amazing in that song where they're like competing. Like, I got you beat. I was sent away at 7, and she's like, I was sent into a tower, and I had a chamber pot and stuff like that. Like, as like they were growing the love for each other, it was really great.
Yeah. I wrote that Shrek lets the dragon kill Lord Farquaad because he understands that when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Oh, there you go.
The exact same show. Medieval, dragons.
Shit.
Okay.
Could argue that.
I can see that.
Lauren, what are you going to give it out of 5?
I want to give it out of 10.
Okay, we'll do it out of 10 this time. Okay, 10 out of 10.
10.
Damien, what would you give it out of 10? 10? Mm-hmm. Dia?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 10. I can't fault it.
I give it 3.
Why?
Why do you give it 3?
No, I give it 10 out of 10. I can't fault it at all.
Oh, there we
Perfectly
go.
cast. Wow, I think this is the
Highest
first thing we've all agreed on.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
And I think that will bring us to the end of this episode. So please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and share it as well. I have been joined by the lovely Lauren Hargo.
Thank you.
Lovely Dia Taylor.
Oh, thank you.
And our special guest, Damien Highvold.
No, you guys.
I've been your host, Benji Rag, and remember, you matter. Bye!
Bye.
Too close. Just right.
Strife is never ending.
Fairy godmother, finished. From the town. Wicked witch.
They dragged me from the pond.
They broke my magic wand.
They blew our condos down. Mad Hatter.
Life is but a witch hunt. Mama's in the mud. Mama's in distress.
They ridiculed my hat. They said that we were fat. They tore my cotton granny dress and called me a hot and tranny mess. Sugar plum fairy. Story of my life. Booty from the ball. The party's off the hook.
But I'm too off the wall.
That's the story of my life.
You late rabbit.
That's the story of my life.
Have fun, you guys.
That's the story of my life.
And remember, if we find you back in the kingdom, you will be executed.